All right, well, we're back up on top of our tub of mash, and you can see that the cap is still real nice and thick, and this is now 67 hours into the run. Worried that it was going to be too cold. You want it up around 88 degrees, maybe even up to 92. So I put a blanket over top of it, and naturally and with its own metabolism, it rose up to 90 degrees after 24 hours. All right, these are the condenser coils. Steam comes through this coil here from the still, and the steam vapor is condensed to a liquid in this outer 3/4 inch copper. It's 100 feet long. But as that steam comes in here, it brings a lot of heat with it, and we want to turn that steam into water. So that's why we use cold water. This jug is filled with cold water, and as you can see over here, this is what it looks like when it's filled with cold water with the inner coil. Then we came in this morning, was at 44 hours on Saturday, now we're at 67 hours. And I'm getting 14% sugar on the refractometer, and the hydrometer is reading, this thing is still reading 7% sugar, so but 7% is, we're going to use that as an accurate reading. So strongly acid. And on this pH 4 scale, we're way down here below off what the yellowness is. So it's very acid, believe me. And now you can really taste it with your own lips. I mean, it's more acid than vinegar. And it tastes like apple cider, but very apple cider that's about to go sour, that's about to go bad. So you still taste some sugar in it. There's still sugar there that you can get on your tongue. But it's not nearly as palatable as it was when it was sort of that mapo corn sweet. Now we're going to take our still lid and we're going to put it over top. And that's as high as she goes. Run that over here, and then you just run this on over. And set it there. After much trial and error, I have an alignment mark here. Didn't do. Later we'll pressure test the still with that pressure testing device. Just make sure I can get a hook onto this one. Oh yeah, I think we're in good shape. But what we're going to gain is we're going to gain a measure of how much carbon dioxide is being made. This hose, handy dandy little device. I'm going to hook this hose up here to this still outlet. We're going to just put this down in the bottom of this bucket here, like this, and we'll just wait a minute. And if I've guessed right, all right, we're going to set that there temporarily. I don't think I'm going to have to move the still lid. I think we're in good shape. That's good enough. Water temperature is at 56 degrees. We're going to see if we can make it a little colder. And if I'm not mistaken, I just think I just heard the breakers blow. So I'll be right back. Probably the safest time to check the still pressure is today while the still isn't running and I'm not trying to run a batch. If it's not going to seal, now is the time to find out about it. Just fill this hole right there because this one is not catching very well. This will just take a sec. Hopefully there's a little bit of pressure left in the tank even though it hasn't been on for a couple of days. Turn that off. You'll see this thing will start to get hard like a football. We still haven't got to 2 pounds yet. Now you can see that we've got lots of air in there, but we need to make sure this is going to take still temperature, still pressure. These are the safety valves here, okay? And we can adjust these so that they will allow steam to leak off if the pressure gets too high. This is 2 pounds, moving up on 3 pounds. That's enough for today. So we'll just wait for the still run to bleed off all the pressure. Big valve here and let the carbon dioxide out. And now you can, when I bang on it, you hear a completely different sound. See, much baser, lower, and when you've got pressure in it, it really gets tinny. Start bubbling again. And those bubbles are going to be what tells us when the reaction is over. When this stops bubbling, I'm going to take 2.5 quarts. Push that down into the bottom again. 2.5 quarts on top of it. And you will see that the carbon dioxide stops. And that is because the carbon dioxide has to force its way past that much additional weight of water. And then lo and behold, it manages to do it. It builds up enough pressure. So you have to choose the level of your bucket. You know, if you have just a... That's fine. We don't want too much resistance. We don't want to have so much water that we're actually poisoning this thing with carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide needs to get out. We're just sort of measuring it and seeing what's going on. When this stops bubbling, the fermentation is over. The reaction is done, and it'll be time to turn on the still. We don't know if that's going to be tomorrow morning, which is Monday morning, which will be 67 hours plus right around 88 hours, or the next morning, which will be 98, 108, 112 hours. So we're going to choose to run it in the morning. It's either going to be after 88 hours or after 112 hours, and certainly by 112 hours. Even if this thing is still just bubbling a little bit out of carbon dioxide, we'll go ahead and run it. The question is, will it die between now or settle down and ferment the rest of the sugar in the next 18 hours? Between now and 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So we'll just have to come in and check it and see. And if it's ready to go, we'll fire up the still. And if it's not ready to go, we'll wait 24 hours. We've now waited another hour for the temperature of this mash to cool.